All right. Hey guys, I'm so excited. Oh my goodness. I can't believe it is already November 30th. It's crazy. I have been looking forward to this day where I'm able to show you guys what I've been working on for months, literally like consolidating information for years, spending well over $50,000 in getting mentorship, information, building products, getting all this stuff together. And now I can finally show it to you guys because I feel like it's finally ready. So if you don't know me, my name is Amanda Buckner. I'm the owner and CEO of Untamed Fitness, and now the owner and CEO of Omni, our integrated health portal. So we'll go into what that exactly means in a second. And I am just going to go ahead and I'm going to share my screen. Let's see. Wait, technology will be with me. Okay, awesome. So I'm going to pull this guy up and then I'm going to let you guys see it. Awesome. All right, sharing screen now. Okay. So I'm going to keep this. Obviously I designed it in Canva, but I'm going to keep it in Canva just because I'm going to be switching between some of the different tabs, and I really want to be able to like flip flop between the different ones. But without further ado, let's talk about Omni, the integrated health portal. Okay. So you're here today because of the amazing title that I gave this thing, Your Master Key to Success in All of Life. And like, that seems like a very bold statement, right? It is, but also what we're dealing with here is literally that important. Um, your mindset, how you look at things, how you feel about yourself, and how you react to different situations in your life is literally the key of like success or failure, right? So I'm not going to leave you guys hanging too much longer, right? The master key that I am talking about right now is literally dun, 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 concentration. That's it. I know. You're like, okay, cool. Exit, go to another YouTube video, right? But I'm not making this up. Like I am not creating a new world. All I'm doing is taking the information that I've already received and have gathered over many, many years, and I am trying to break it down into a better way for you guys to be able to understand it and utilize it in your own life. Um, so let's talk about concentration, right? The easiest thing that I think a lot of us can relate to, even like religious or non-religious, right, is prayer. Everyone knows what prayer is, right? It's like your hands together, you pray to God, or whoever that your higher being is, right? Of like, you know, I really wish I had more money, or like I really wish I was a millionaire. Really wish I had a Jeep, right? Like that's my thing. Like my dream car is like a Jeep Cherokee, like not really super fancy and like over the top. No, my Maserati or Lamborghini, right? Like literally just a Jeep Cherokee. But like putting your hands together, you pray, and you pray and pray, right? And there are stories of people who pray for long enough and then eventually are able to either get an idea that inspires them in order to actually achieve the result that they're looking for, or like a miracle happens and they're able to wake up one day as a lottery winner, something like that. That's usually not that extreme, but the reason why prayer works is because you're using the power of concentration, right? Your brain thinking is literally the bridge between things that are not real, that are like in your dreams, that are not in reality, and reality. It's like the bridge, the gap that crosses that airway from making something an idea into actually, turning an iPhone into an iPhone, right? Somebody had to think that up first. Like it doesn't just appear because you're like, oh, that sounds like, oh, I should have thought of that, right? Somebody has to think of these things first before they come into existence, right? So using concentration will develop your ability to have self-discipline as well as a direction of where to go, right? So being able to concentrate on, let's say, I feel like money is like a really easy one of like what to focus on. And all of us want more money, right? So let's just say money, or I'm a fitness person, you want to lose 10 pounds, 20 pounds, whatever, right? So like pray, you focus like 5 to 10 minutes a day. You're like, really want to be a millionaire, really want to lose weight, really want to be a millionaire, really want to lose weight, right? The more you focus on those things, the more they are in your subconscious at all times. And the more your brain subconsciously is going to be looking for ways to achieve that. There's ways that you can talk to yourself as if the thing that you want has already happened. Many smart people have noticed that there's really no difference of brainwave or brain activity between memory and imagination. So you can remember something of, oh yeah, I remember back in the third grade, like I saw a ghost or whatever, right? And then was that actually real? Like, did that actually happen in the third grade, or was that a movie that I watched? Or it could have been a book, or maybe it was somebody else told me that they saw a ghost. Like, right? Like our memory is so fluid and interchangeable. It doesn't know necessarily like what false memory is, which that's an entirely different conversation and time, right? But what doesn't understand what false memory is and what real memory is. It doesn't designate what is a dream of something that we're going towards in the future and what has already happened. So our brains are really malleable, really cool. And the ability to use them to your advantage in order to get to the destination that you want to go to is all what the Omni integrated portal is about. So let's move forward, and I'm going to tell you just a little bit about myself, of kind of like why I think the way that I think, and then give you kind of like a basis of how this Omni came to fruition. Okay. So again, I said my name is Amanda. I'm a 9-year Navy veteran. I used to work as an intelligence specialist, specifically as an imagery analyst for the Navy for the first 9 years after high school, mostly because I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I knew I wanted to travel. I knew there was something out there that I didn't know what I needed. And I ended up joining the Navy because I didn't know what else to do. I didn't want to pay for college. So I was an intelligence specialist. I ended up becoming a career counselor for a very short amount of time. And then after leaving the Navy, I ended up finding fitness and martial arts and completely fell head over heels in love with it. Like literally sitting, I would go from work, I would go to the gym and just like sit there for like 3 to 4 hours, working out, helping with the kids' martial art classes, learning kickboxing, watching the other personal trainers do their thing, figuring out what personal training was versus group training, and what all these different components were. It was super interesting to like a very analytical mind. So after that, once I found out that I was pregnant with my first daughter, and this was pretty much at the end of my enlistment. I could have re-enlisted, and I was like, no, I don't like the Navy. It's not my thing. I ended up getting out of the Navy and starting my own fitness business as a in-home personal trainer, and I've been running that for the last 6 years. We actually just moved into our first space, our first fitness studio, and we've got a few trainers working here under us. And it's really awesome being able to see this grow and expand into like a really beautiful company, right? I also do like competitive Muay Thai kickboxing and jiu-jitsu at like the amateur level. Last year we competed at the national WKAs and we got second place, which is awesome. And then, yeah, like I said, I've already told you that I'm the CEO of Untamed Fitness and Martial Arts, creator of now the new Omni integrated health portal, and also invented something called the Kettle Buddy, which is over there, but it's pretty much like a soft slammable kettlebell. But if that's not enough, I'm gonna go ahead and make my own entire portal. But pretty much like what happens is if I see there's a thing that I need to do that I'm driven to do, I go and I do it. Okay. So all of that, like that's a oh my goodness, Amanda, you're amazing. You're an overachiever. I can tell that you're achieving a lot of things, right? So let me tell you a story. There I was. So this pie chart represents you, not necessarily you, but like me and like everybody, right? We have a whole bunch of different areas of life that kind of piece together in order to make ourselves whole, right? So there I was. Let's say it was about 2020, right? Like I said, I do amateur kickboxing. I was about to do my first ever smoker, like what do they call that? Like, like it's a kickboxing match, but like there's no winner or loser, like exhibition type style, right? And we'd flown all the way over to Virginia from Washington State in order to do this match. And I that whole fight camps are usually like 6 to 8 weeks long. And that whole time I was so focused on my fitness, on training. I was training like 4 to 5 hours a day. I was eating beautifully. Like my nutrition was on point. I had abs for probably the first time in my entire life. It was great. Um, I slept well. Like I was probably getting like 8 or 9 hours of sleep. Normally I get like 5 or 6, like maximum. But I was getting 8 to 9 hours of sleep, and I was just doing everything to avoid injury. And it went well, right? I was the fitness world. My fitness was awesome, right? And like I won the fight, and I was like, yeah, this is great, right? I was like the top of the world. And guess what? The next day, this is a picture of me at one of my favorite places in the entire world in Washington. It's called the Salmon Ladder or the Fish Ladder up in Granite Falls. It's beautiful. You should go there if you're anywhere near Washington. But I was so depressed. There's like this giant come up of like, oh my god, this is amazing. I'm fighting somebody. And then there's like a super deep pit that nobody talks about, but everyone understands as a fighter that you go into after fight camps. And a lot of this comes from, like change of pace, like like this thing that you are working towards, kind of like, you have nothing else to work towards. You can be very depressing and just go down into this deep pit of depression right after fights. And I was noticing that this would happen win or lose, right? Like I've had a fair amount of fights, and I've won some, I've lost some, and both times, no matter what, the 2 to 3 weeks after the fight, I am like at the bottom of a well. I am literally so depressed that there were days where my alarm would go off. I would drive my daughter to school. I would come home. I would go right back into bed, and I would just be working on my computer from bed because that was all the energy that I had until I had to go pick up Aurora from school. And I was like, I don't think I'm doing something right. It felt wrong. I was so driven, and I loved going and being so fit and doing kickboxing, but that after backlash, like it didn't feel right. So I knew I was doing something wrong. And this is actually where I started thinking of, okay, I'm exercising, I'm getting the endorphins, like I feel great. What is missing? And come to find out, everything was missing except for fitness, right? During fight camps, I 100% would sacrifice everything to make sure that I got to the fight and I got there uninjured, right? Like I said, my nutrition was on point. I was sleeping well. I was eating healthy. I was exercising multiple hours a day. And like, I never felt physically better. Mentally, I was a car crash. Like I would get angry at the drop of a hat. I was like super short tempered. I'm very focused on if you were talking about fighting, or I was very analytical of the things that you were telling me for fighting. Anything else did not matter. Anything else just kind of went away to the wayside. And I also realized that I was like, oh, I'll just go and like hang out with friends. And I was like, well, I don't have any friends. well, I don't have any friends. Woe is me, right? But no, it's not that. It's not like that I'm a bad person. It was just that I was neglecting my networking with new people or to make friends, and therefore didn't have any people that I considered friends, right? Same thing with I wasn't talking to my family. I was literally sacrificing my business that I just told you so passionately how I love. I was literally sacrificing it in order to do these fight camps. And it wasn't like it would like, completely crash and burn, right? It was more, okay, growing the business, fight camp would happen, and then it would drop and then it would just plateau. It would just exist. And then I would come back from the fight camp and be like, why is this happening? And I get super upset that, my business was failing and my kids were all emotional and my mindset sucked because I was in this deep bottomless pit of a well. And, I didn't talk to my family and I was like, but I'm doing so much. I was doing too much the wrong thing. So let's move ahead. Anyone seen the movie Yes Man? This is like, I don't know, maybe 20 years old. But this is an amazing movie. If you haven't seen it, go and see it. It has Jim Carrey in it. It's really funny. And the premise of this movie is this guy was, again, very unhappy with his life, probably the same as you guys right now, because why would you be coming to an integrated life-changing course if you didn't want to integrate and change something in your life, right? But Jim Carrey's character was not happy with his life and was trying to figure out what was going on. And the premise is, it's like a comedy, but he had to say yes to every opportunity that came his way, right? So it was like, oh, do you want to join our running crew? He's like, oh yeah, I can't say no. Yes, I would love to, right? Would you like to go out with me? Yes, love to, right? It was like, he ended up saying yes to so many things, and the beginning of the movie was very beautiful of like expanding her horizons and meeting new people and learning to paint and run and go biking and doing all these things, right? And then he meets a girl. And so, that thing happens. And I don't want to give away too much of it, but it's a really good movie. And so, let me think. It was about, I'm going to say 8 years ago that I saw this movie when it first came out. And at the time, I was in the Navy. I had just gotten to a new duty station. I didn't know anybody. It was around the holidays. I was not happy. I literally would go from the Navy, where I was pretty much in like a holding, what do they call it? They call it in like a holding job, right? So like, because I did intel, you pretty much have to like wait to get blessed by the NSA or whatever company in order to actually, check out that you are who they say you are and who you say you are, and then you can get access to their building, which is like, I totally understand the whole security level, but it was very boring for a few months. So I didn't know anybody. I worked in an office with two other men who were both like married and had kids and did not want anything to do with like showing a new person around town, which I totally understand. And so I just watched this movie, and one of the days, one of the guys was going to a gym out in town, and I was like, I don't even know why you pay for a gym. Like, who enjoys exercising? That's just weird, right? It's funny, right? And so the guy was like, oh, well, you should try it out. It's a boot camp class. And I was like, boot camp? Boot camp was terrible. Like, I don't know why they would name a class after boot camp. He's like, no. Like, come and try it. It's going to be great. And like this little voice in the back of my head was like, you should say yes. So I was like, ugh, like just watch this movie. I'm like, fine, I'll go and do your boot camp class, right? So I go and do the boot camp class. Little did I know I would meet like some of the best people in the world. And that moment of choosing to go to this random gym that I never even thought about doing, I turned into a fitness person, became like completely obsessed with martial arts and fitness and how beautiful the whole thing was. Eventually turned into a boot camp instructor and a kickboxing and a kids instructor. That bled over to doing personal training and then opening my own personal training studio, moving across the nation to San Diego and Washington, and then finally settling up in Washington and having my own studio. So like, it's really cool. And I totally get how people believe in fate and higher power of like what their purpose is supposed to be. Right. Um, but that was like one of the pivotal moments of like they call it like a coming to Jesus moment, right? Like that was my coming to Jesus moment of like say yes to Jim, like entire world that I didn't even know existed, including the Omni portal, like would not exist if I didn't say yes, I'm going to go try out this boot camp, right? All right. So you've been looking at this genie for a little bit and you're like, what is the, just talk about the genie. we know about yes, talk about the genie. So you know what's interesting is like I was looking really hard in Canva for a genie and like all of them were like super buff, like super buff dudes and like teeny tiny little ladies. I was like, I need to know what the workout regimen of a genie is. But anyways, a lot of the research and like mindfulness books, meditation, somewhere you're going to read the word manifestation, right? And I used to think that this was, I wish I had coffee. And then all of a sudden you open your eyes, you're like, coffee. Like, oh man, okay. I just didn't like if coffee doesn't arrive, you're like, oh, I didn't wish hard enough, right? Like just close your eyes and focus. God, just want coffee. Coffee. Like, coffee. And it's not there. Like, oh, well, I guess it doesn't work, right? That was how I lived for like the first 20 years of my life, adult life, right? And it was only very recently when I was actually designing this program that I realized that manifestation is literally just concentration. And how you're using your concentration, again, is like your thinking is your superpower, right? There's a saying of I think, therefore I am. There's also another saying of I am, therefore I think. I don't know which one is necessarily more true. They might be both true. But manifestation is literally just your ability to concentrate. And being able to concentrate and focus your energy on one thing, especially if it's a positive thing, will literally manifest it into your life. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's happened like too many times to me for me to ignore it. Like I'm not like a super, you know, like believing in witchcraft and stuff, but like I'm one of those people that like, hey, this thing worked. I don't need to put a name to it, but like that's amazing that it worked. Okay, like just you don't have to tell me how. Like I like watching magicians. Like show me the magic trick, don't tell me how was done. Just it's magic. It's just magic to me. Okay? So manifestation is not a genie. However, you can become your own genie. Look at that. I made myself a genie. So you can actually transform the thing that you want the most into your reality by the way of thinking it, right? So like thinking your thing into reality, right? Let's say I want $1 million, right? Oh my goodness, that's such a lot of money, right? So okay, cool. Yeah, you want $1 million. Okay, that's it. That's you've specified what you want. What are you going to sacrifice to get there, right? I'm not talking about sacrificing a goat or like any type of like weird ritual thing. It's sacrificing of time or sleep or something important for something more important, right? That's literally the definition of sacrifice is choosing one important thing over another important thing. So for me, it was like sacrificing a little bit of sleep, a little bit of time away from my kids, a little bit of you know, money and learning from other people in order to build this program, right? And that was because I believed so strongly that this was here. This was what I was made for. Like I had that same feeling when I started to go down the personal training route. It was like, oh man, like this is literally what I was put on earth to do. This is my purpose, right? Like have you had that feeling? It's a really powerful feeling to have it, and you just want to keep chasing it because you know that resistance is going to happen no matter what. And it's a really good way to think about it, is like the more resistance that you have that shows up when you're going down a certain path, it's a sign that you're on the right path, right? Like, oh man, I want to do this Omni integrated health portal where we bring like fitness and mindset training and spirituality. Like I want to bring it all together because they're all intertwined. We're like a whole interconnected person. Like I want to do this, right? And then all of a sudden, like, the car breaks down, or just like random little things that you're like, oh, that's slightly annoying. Like some people will use that as a way to turn off their road. Other people will use that as a way of saying, okay, I'm getting resistance, therefore I know I'm on the right path. Okay. So it's really just a way of how you look at it. Also, putting what you dream, what you desire into a realistic timeline. Yes, you can go out there and make $1 million off of YouTube, right? I've seen it done multiple times. However, the backlog of that $1 million, it's not overnight. Those overnight occurrences are very, very rare. And like I'm laughing because I was talking with one of my friends the other day, and we were talking about like is OnlyFans actually a thing? Like, are there actually that many people subscribed? Do people actually use it? Are there actually that many people like utilizing it as a service? So we're just looking it up, right? And a lot of it comes from like just the news of people talking about it. Like, oh my goodness, like, did you hear that, so and so star made $1 million off of her OnlyFans? It's like the news. One person out of however many million people that are on there made $1 million. And so everyone is like, ooh, free advertising. I'm going to go do OnlyFans. Don't do that. I'm not going to do that. Don't do that. But your timeline is super important because it's going to dictate how much effort you're going to need to spend into that dream, that desire every single day. The closer your timeline is, the more it's going to demand from you every single day. Okay. And that's why a lot of these plans that, I want to make $1 million, like that's only $240 a day if you're, a personal trainer, right? That's in a 5-year line, right? So it's all about how big your step is, and then what your ramp is to get there, right? That's a good way to put it. Another thing to do is whatever you dream, whatever you desire, is to write it down in like an I am statement or I will statement. Put it on your wall, and then you're gonna read it daily. And we're gonna do some visualization techniques and stuff, which I'll teach you guys in this coaching program. And then you're just going to make sure that you're revisiting it, reworking it, seeing what works, seeing what didn't work. And then if it doesn't work, don't just keep doing it. If it doesn't work, okay, this didn't work, scrap that. Let's try this one. Oh, that one worked. Oh, that one didn't work. That one just got worse. Okay, definitely not that one. Let's try this one. Okay, that one definitely worked. Okay. So we'll also, in this program, talk about the 6 areas of alignment: fitness, finance, networking, faith, mindset, and family. I don't know. I said 7, but there's 6. Oh, faith and spirituality. I got it. So those 6 areas all are part of that pie, right? You need to develop all of those pies so that way when you succeed and you reach that next level, your fitness isn't up at this level, but your family is down at this level. You reached your fitness goals. You're #1 in the nation. Yeah, but now your kids hate you, right? It's not worth it, right? So we're going to make sure that we're aligning ourselves to the correct timeline and ability that we have available to us that matches all of our fitness, financing, network, faith, mindset, and family goals, tying them together and then elevating it together. So a good example is I'm going to do what I do, right? So I am primarily a fitness person, right? So I need to make sure that I am in shape so that way people want to train with me. I'm literally like my own walking billboard, right? They're like, oh my goodness, your legs are amazing. I want to get amazing legs like yours. Let's train together, right? So that means I need to make sure that I'm working out. When do I work out? I bring my kids to the track with me. And them coming to the track with me, they love coming to the track because it's like we get to spend time with mom. They like will do little relay races with me. Sometimes they'll just play in the grass, right? But I've tied my fitness in with my family, in with my financing, and all of those help my mindset and they elevate each other together, right? So that's like just one example of how all those can tie together. We'll also talk about the 3 types of power: physical, mental, and a spiritual. Physical power is literally like being stronger, doing more push-ups, doing more sit-ups, getting those abs, right, that everyone wants. Mental power is a little bit different. Mental power talks about like grit, mental toughness, self-confidence, right? And then our spiritual or our moral power is again, like another complete shift of like how we feel that we can reach out to others, right? How our community is. Spiritual power is literally the most important and the highest sought after because it helps the most amount of people. So this is through the use of developing your own wisdom, being able to learn and then teach others. This is all in the realm of spiritual power. And again, we'll go over that in the actual program itself. But we're going to kind of skip ahead. We're going to actually go to the portal now. Whew, story time is over. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, let me see if I can pull this up without closing anything. I just need my tabs. Oh no, not those. Yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. So let's go to the actual portal and I'm going to show you guys what it looks like, okay? So when you log in, here's our actual, it's weird to see videos of myself, but here's where you log in and this is going to give you all those different videos of where you are now, where do you want to be, the bridge between the two, and then showing you the roadmap of how to get there. Okay, so this is that sign-in page. You can log in here and register. You probably have done that in order to get here. Okay, but once you do that, I'm going to give you a login, which is going to be able to create your own account. There we go. And then from here, we're going to log into the integrated coaching portal, which is here. Okay. So with this coaching portal, all of your different parts are going to be here on the side, right? So all of these parts, the ones in black, are our different elements. The subcategories down here, these are going to be your homework to do every week or every 2 weeks. The gaps in time are a little bit different, but no matter what, we're going to be meeting once a week. And I'm going to be telling you, we're going to be going over this together. I'm going to be telling you the homework of what's expected, how to integrate the things from the last session into this one. And then if there's any issues or questions that you have moving forward, that's the time to do it. We'll also have monthly workshop sessions with like literally experts in these fields. So we'll have a financial person come in, we'll have someone that is a little bit more knowledgeable on like life coaching come in and kind of tell us where we're going. We'll dive a little bit deeper on like the not so fun parts of doing a little self-reflection. But it's okay, we're all together. It's fine. It's fine. Okay. So just because we're here, I'm going to show you what our roadmap is. So this here is our roadmap, right? We're here. This is the roadmap to where we want to be, no matter where that mountaintop is, right? Yours can be different from mine. Yours can be spiritual, mine can be financial, yours can be, fitness related, whatever, right? Because we're tying all of these different 6 areas together, it doesn't really matter what that end element is because we're gonna reach it still being holistically sound. Okay. So we're breaking this down into a few different parts to make it a little bit more manageable. We're going to be doing learning, then action, then, okay, what went well, what went wrong? How can we fix it? Okay, action again. Okay, take a little breather. Okay, all we have to do is do this, this, and this. These ones are doing great. Accelerate. Okay. So these audios are just going to tell you a little bit more deeper dive of how to get your program right. So you're going to have all of these things done before me and you ever even talk. Okay. So this is, what are your goals? Where do you want to be? Where are you currently? And then we're also going to talk about your personality traits, such as your healthy traits, your stress traits, your growth traits, and then also using those different profiles in order to help me motivate you, right? I am very motivated by freedom and independence and like just learning about things, right? Like I love to learn, which is why I did so well in school, right? They're like, you don't have ADHD, like you did really well in school. Like, no. I did so well in school because I am obsessed. Like I'm pretty obsessed. But now that I'm in the regular world, like apparently people just don't like to learn as much as I do. But anyways, so here is where you are going to kind of self-reflect, take a poll on where you are right now. In the next phase, in the design phase, we're going to talk about putting that plan in order, right? So we're going to take all of your information, like you just made, like in the detective movies, they like make the wall of like all their papers, right? Imagine that wall. It has all of your papers of where you want to go, where you want to be, where you are now, right? Everything, your family, your friends, good and bad, right? And in the design phase, what we're going to do is we're going to take that red tape, that red string, and we're going to start connecting the dots together and then finding what your personal map to go to your mountain peak is. Okay. First blood, I said I'm a fighter, right? First blood is that first week of like pedal to the metal, rubber hits the road. This is where we actually do our idea, our plan to change our lives. And this one is super tough. This is where you're going to hear the most amount of resistance from people that are close to you. Like, oh, what are you doing? Like, why are you getting up so early? Right? That's the big thing. It's like, why are you getting up so early? Why are you going to bed so late? I feel like we never talk anymore. Right? Like that's the week that you're going to be feeling this, right? If you're doing this correctly, back in the design phase, I have it so like I just have me and my kids, right? So back in my design phase, I tell my kids like, hey, listen, I love you so much. You are my world. However, if I don't do this, I'm going to die. Like I make it, and I don't tell them I'm going to die, but like if I don't do this thing, like dire consequences are going to happen in my mind and I'm not going to be the person that you love, right? So I kind of prep them of like, hey, we're about to do this really hard sprint. It's going to be tough. I might not be as mentally aware in the moment. I might be working a little bit harder, but no matter what, Friday, we are hanging out. We're getting ice cream. We're watching a movie together. We're going to snuggle on the couch, right? So giving my kids something to look forward to of what's going to happen and when allows them to support me a little bit more. And it's really cute. They'll just like sometimes just sit next to me while I'm on my computer. They'll just sit next to me. They'll be on the iPad. They'll just hang out, but they just want to be around me. They don't want, they do want to play with me, but they're fine with, okay, I'm just going to do this. I told you we're going to hang out on Friday, right? So get your people behind you and your support group ready to support you while you're going through this entire process, because it's going to be tough. You're going to be going through some like emotionally uncomfortable things of self-reflection, and things are going to come up, which is also why we are keeping a journal this entire time. But you have so much support and you're never going to be alone any step of this way. So after this first really hard week, we're going to take the next few days called the march. In Muay Thai, there's something called the march, where you're not fighting, but you're still in the fight. It's still like, the first, second, or third round, but you're here, right? You're keeping your march. You're moving your feet. You're not actively throwing jabs or crosses or kicks. You're getting your composure back, right? And that's what we're going to be doing for this next phase, is finding, okay, I'm okay. What just happened? What worked? Okay. this definitely didn't work. Or you know what? That timeline might need to be extended a little bit. Or you know what? That I have a financial timeline that I thought I was going to build through, I don't know, my business, but actually my side business is going really well. So I'm going to put a little bit more emphasis over here, and then we're going to see what happens. So that's where we're going to kind of take a breath. We're going to regroup. We're going to talk that week and figure out a better way forward. Our double cross, it's not a double cross like, haha, backstab. It's a double cross, again, in Muay Thai, right? I'm a fighter. Your jab hand is not necessarily your strong side. Your jab hand is kind of like your feeler of the environment of the fight, right? Your cross is the most powerful weapon you have, right? On your hands, right? Like, let's not talk about the legs right now. Your cross is the most powerful one, right? So if you see a place, you see an opening for your cross to land, bam, you throw the cross. Oh, you see that it's still open, throw another cross, right? So this is not just a cross, we're doing a cross, bah, bah, right? That's the double cross that I'm talking about. And in this week, it's gonna be similar to that first blood week. However, it's gonna feel a little bit more organized because you're gonna be a little bit more in a groove, but we're gonna be able to implement those things that we learned from the March and be able to put that at a different level at the double cross phase. Okay. After that, again, we're gonna take another break, tiny little break at this yellow dot, right? Look at it. This is not your destination, right? We are so close to the top, right? If you stop here, you're gonna fall back down. And you're gonna end up at one of these other little red dots, right? That's what all these little red dots are, is like spaces that you could have stopped and gone in a different direction, but it doesn't get you to your final goal. Okay. You're going to get here and you're going to be like, wow, it's working. This is amazing. Okay. I changed some things. I'm not there yet. I'm not a millionaire, but you know, I got like enough. It's okay. I am okay. I can hang out here. I don't need to further change. And that is going to be the hardest part of this entire period, right? It's not the beginning, right? You've already begun. You're already here. We're already talking, right? That's the hardest part because you're going to feel successful in the moment, but you didn't reach that final destination yet, right? This top shot, this phase is specifically designed to be tough. There's nothing new there. It's the same implementation of the first blood, the march, the double cross. We're looking back, we're seeing what worked, what didn't, and we're still moving forward. But now we are helping to integrate our community into our new lives. You can't give up when it's working, but just, right? You didn't hit your goal yet. You need to hit that goal. So that way you can set another goal, right? Okay, I became a millionaire. Okay, let's become like a 50 millionaire. Like once you hit that goal, like you need to like drag yourself kicking and screaming to get to that first goal. It's not here. It's here, right? And look, you can't give up because you have come so far in order to get there. You're so close. It's just one more little push, whether that's 1 month or 2 months or, you know, a year. Whatever it is, you need to dig your heels in, look deep, and push yourself. Okay. So that is the overview of what those 6 months of Omni integrated training is going to go over. Okay. I know I got like a little passionate, but I love this stuff. Okay. So let's see. Where are you? Oh, I'm going the wrong way. Bam. There we are. Okay. So we're going back this way. So I showed you the Omni integrated portal. You saw the stuff that you're going to be getting. All of those different missions and checkpoints, they're all already orchestrated into a program in order to make sure that you tie all your fitness, finance, mindset, spiritual goals together, and then we'll elevate them all at the same time. So with this 6-month program, it starts December 13th. That's our first day of meeting. I think it's a Wednesday this week or this year. But this is going to, one, make sure that we are ahead of the game for the whole New Year's Eve debacle, right? Like you really don't want to be starting a 6-month program on January 1st. I know, like it sounds backwards. Like I thought that's when everybody started. Exactly. That's when everybody else starts. And you know when everybody else fails is January 2nd, right? We are in here for the long haul. We are doing this for a 6-month stint, December 13th to June 13th, okay? With that 6 months, you get the fully integrated program for fitness, your mindset, nutrition, motivation, financial strategies. You're going to get relationships such as like, family, friends, as well as your loved ones and yourself, and so much more. This 6-month program is going to start with that 2-week journeyman program, which I showed you with the audio and the design phases, including the 6 areas of alignment consult. We're going to set up your whole plan together. I'm going to give you a whole bunch of worksheets to do. We're going to talk about it together. So the whole time we are in communication, making sure that you are actually doing the things that you want to do, right? You don't want to be writing down somebody else's goals. You're also going to get the Align Your Stars audio, which is very helpful. But all of that stuff is just $1,900, like value, right? This is not the actual prices, right? So you're also going to get, I already mentioned it, the once a week coaching sessions with me, $2,200 value. The one-time weekly feedback sessions on top of your 30-minute coaching sessions, right? So that's going to be also once weekly. That's $720 value. You're also getting a 3-day workout program, right? Fitness is a huge part of this, right? I'm a fitness person. We're doing fitness, whether that's walking 3 days a week or doing CrossFit 3 days a week. I will personally write you a program that works for your schedule and making sure that you're taking care of yourself while you're taking care of yourself. Okay. So that also is $6,800 value. Nutrition programming on top of that, very easy to follow. All I got to do is just put in your calories, your total daily energy expenditure, and then the app is literally going to give you meals. Like, hey, do you want eggs and sausage for breakfast? This fits into your meal plan. It's going to give you 18 different meals that you can choose from. You can pick and choose. You don't have to follow every single one of them. You don't have to track the macros. It's amazing. But that's $600 value. We've got our monthly focus top groups, which is going to have the guest speakers, $1,200 value. And then also on top of that, the document spreadsheets, trackers, and checklists, because I am a paper person. Like I love writing and brainstorming. Like I would write on the walls if I could. But I love all of that type of stuff. So you're going to also get that in your package. You're also going to get, do I have it open? Yes. You're also going to get, I'm just going to send you this PDF because I was going to have this as a printed, like pre-order the everything journal, just so you can, like I said, I'm a paper person. I like to write things down. But I feel like this coincides really well with this Omni integrated program that I'm just going to send you the PDF for this because this has so much good information. And then you can just write this, the prompts down in your journal. And that way you have a little bit more writing room versus the little tiny block that I've given you. But this also goes with the fully integrated health stuff. We'll talk about some of the first things we talk about is like code switching in your brain between different tasks, how to code switch with your emotions, right? That's very interesting. How to find your own motivation. We'll talk about the personality types. Let's see what else. It's just like there's so much fun stuff in here. It's amazing. We talk about finances, how to balance your relationships and your spreadsheets and all that fun stuff, but you get that as well. Okay, so all together today, only for only the people that see this webinar and are participating in our first like grand opening, if you will, the price of all of this stuff together is $13,540, right? So everything that I'm offering you right now is worth over $13,000. And I already told you, I have personally paid well over $50,000 to acquire all of this information. So it's good. Like, this stuff comes from like almost directly from the source and then translated into a way that isn't like old English. But just for today, what I'm going to do is anyone that watches this webinar, I'm going to give you a $3,500 discount just for showing up, just for sharing the enthusiasm that I have in this coaching program. And you're only going to have the $99.97 today. Okay. So that's like really good deal. Like, I don't even think I got that big of a discount buying my first car. I also don't think my first car was like, I don't think it was a Saturn Ion. It was a 2006 Saturn Ion. It wasn't really that great of a car, but it was fine. It drove. It didn't even have cruise control. It was like very, very like sticks and what do they call that? Like sticks and stones. I don't know. Okay. But Amanda, I don't have $9,997 today. Christmas is coming up. How dare you, right? I know. But wait. You can still get access to not just the first module, but I'm going to give you both the audio and the design modules and the homework and the fitness journal. If you do a half deposit and register for our program starting in February on the 13th. Okay. So that deposit will give you, where's my thing? Yeah, so it'll give you access to these first two areas, right? Obviously we wouldn't meet yet, right? Because it doesn't start till February, but you'll be able to get the information, get started. Like, I love taking advantage of motivation because like when you feel motivated, you're like, yes, I'm motivated. Yeah, okay, do all the things, right? Like, use the motivation when you have it, right? It's really hard to like be like, oh, I'll do it later, and then like you're motivated now, and you're like, oh, I'll be motivated later, and you're not, right? Like, oh, dang it, I have to clean the house now because I said I would do it later, and you're like, oh, I don't want to, right? So if you have motivation now, like, this is the best deal, right? If you put half down now, which is $49.98. 50 cents, because apparently that's half. This will make sure that you have a spot for our February timeframe. And then we'll talk about, New Year's resolutions and how to not be one of those January people. And then we'll pretty much just go from there, right? So our first iteration is December 13th. Next iteration is going to be in February. So if you want to just put a little bit down right now, and then that way it's like a little bit more doable. You're still securing your spot. And then you can literally just get started right after you like fill in the form. That's like pretty cool, right? Okay. The last thing I'm going to leave you with is one of my favorite quotes from one of my favorite people of all time. I don't know if you know her. Her name is Amelia Earhart, which actually I am related to. Did you know? I probably didn't. But yeah, apparently she married a Jerome. My mom was her mom was a Jerome, so it's like, I don't know what blood family that is, but family of Jeromes. But the most difficult thing is the decision to act. The rest is mere tenacity. The fears are paper tigers, meaning they look scary, but they're really just made out of paper, right? You can do anything that you decide to do. You can change, or you can act to change and control your life. And the process is its own reward. I absolutely love that quote. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, let me know. Thank you so much for being here and hanging out with me for our release of our first integrated portal. And I'll talk to you guys in a few weeks. Okay, bye.